Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan. And first off, I would like to thank our production partners, Red Roof Franchising and Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group here in California. They've been supporters and production partners of the show since the very beginning, and we really appreciate their help, or we would not have a show. So, with that said, let's jump right into this. We've got Jessica Blotter, CEO of Kind Traveler, joining the conversation today. Jessica, how are you?
Hi, Craig. So great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, it is our pleasure. We've been looking forward to this. Danny and I have been very excited to have you on the show. So let's jump right into this. Would you please tell the audience, what is Kind Traveler?
Yeah, of course, Craig. So Kind Traveler is the first socially conscious give and get hotel booking and media platform that empowers travelers to positively impact the communities that they visit. And as a veteran and women-owned public benefit corporation, the way that it works is through our give and get model. Travelers will unlock exclusive hotel rates and perks from curated Kind hotels when they give a $10 nightly donation to a locally vetted charity or a charity of choice on Kind Traveler. But ultimately, we're promoting the local impact opportunity to give back to the community. And through that model, 100% of donations go to charity, creating a triple win amongst the traveler, the hotel, and of course the charity. So in a nutshell, that's what it is.
I love it. That, and that is something that is truly needed prior to the pandemic, but certainly subsequent to the pandemic. Now, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a really unique story on how Kind Traveler began, and it starts with a trip to Belize. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I had spent 10 years working in publishing. I actually started my career as an earth science teacher, got my master's in education, but it's really where I found my heart for sustainability. And but I later went on, I worked with a handful of startups in the publishing space and had this longing to get into the travel industry. I became a travel journalist, had a column with CBS Los Angeles. But I had this longing to do more than travel, essentially. And the trip that kind of made this all come together was when my partner and I went to Belize, and we were there to see the Mayan ruins and go caving and do the sort of things you think of when you go to Belize, but instead we witnessed a lot of poverty. We saw a lot of emaciated dogs roaming the streets, yes, but families living in shacks next to polluted swamps. And, we had a really hard time just separating our travel experience from this desire that we had to either help or just want to know somehow that our travel dollars were making a meaningful, positive impact in this community. So we had an experience down there that changed us. As animal rescue volunteers, we decided to feed these dogs because we just really could not ignore them. And unintentionally inspired other travelers that we were on the bus with to get involved with this very small act of giving back. But what happened was when we got back on the bus, the entire sentiment had really shifted from this sense of helplessness and hopelessness to this sense of joy and fulfillment and a bit of purpose, knowing that we tried to make things different in some small way. So we really tapped into that feeling and thought, how can we make it easy for travelers to make a meaningful impact without necessarily, volunteering when they travel, and what does that look like? And the answer was through our give and get platform, Kind Traveler, which we got started building shortly after that trip.
That's an amazing story, and I think of Belize, and it's on my bucket list. There's not a lot of places on my bucket list, but that is one of them because I scuba dive. And every time I hear that word, I think of diving there and all of that. And when you get into a foreign country and you see some of the poverty there, it's just like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? It's amazing that you and your partner came up with this idea and then executed on it to, give back and help with a positive impact at various places. I was looking at some information on your partner hotels, and I've stayed at a lot of them, and I had no idea that they were, part of your program. So I think that's really amazing, in the growth that you've been having.
Thanks, Craig. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of tag on to that, before, like you touched on it, before Kind Traveler, you might just simply deal with what's called traveler's guilt. You see poverty, you see disparity, you want to do something, but you don't know how to easily do that. And so there's actually books written on traveler's guilt, because we all experience, and most people, because there's not an easy pathway, choose to do nothing. But the research really indicates, the latest research from Booking.com, in fact, 2021 study indicates that 70% of travelers actually want to know how their travel dollars are making a meaningful community impact. But the big problem in the space, Craig, is that half of them don't know how to do this, and a third find it confusing. And so that's another, really what Kind Traveler is tapping into, is solving these challenges.
Now, I find that amazing, especially in the day and age that we live in, and basically you've got everything at your fingertips. Now, are you finding that most of the people participating in Kind Traveler are of a younger generation, or is it broad-based and old people like me and everything down to a teenager?
Oh, you're just a youngin', Craig. Don't say that.
Thank you.
Really, what the research indicates is that there are three demographics that are particularly interested in this intersection of travel, sustainability, and philanthropy. And those three demographics are the millennial generation. They are dubbed the generous generation. They grew up in a different era where they were in tune with the world's greatest challenges, environmental challenges, and so forth, largely due to social media. And then you have family travelers that also express interest because they see giving back as a learning opportunity to teach their children. And then you have affluent travelers who really place a high premium on social responsibility. In fact, they see it as a luxury. We think of it as a Whole Foods type of shopper. If there is a stringent set of environmental and social principles that are being adhered to, they place high value. So those are the demographics that are largely interested in this conversation of sustainable travel.
Very nice. And that's kind of what I was thinking, that it was going to be broad-based like that. And I think the Gen X, Gen Y, subsequent generations are also going to get on this, because I think the millennials get a bad rap. I really do. I think the first half of that generation kind of was, I don't know what to do. And, I acquired all this debt going to school, and we had a financial meltdown, and I don't know what's next. And I think the back half of that generation saw that. And I listened to them saying, you know what, I'm good with like a micro apartment with a lobby and, a lot of hotel amenities. And I think travel and the experience and giving back with all three of those groups in particular is substantially more than, say, my generation and some generations in between. So
yeah.
that's
no, yeah, I can appreciate that. And I think it's really interesting too to talk about, the impact of what a $10 donation can make, because that can sound kind of visceral, but to really break it down, just a few quick examples. $10, for example, donated to the Russian River Keeper up in Sonoma County, California, will clean up 250 pounds of trash out of the Russian River. So that's a huge impact metric of just $10. Another example is if you donate to the local food bank, the Redwood Empire Food Bank in Sonoma County, that will help provide 20 nutritious meals to in-need families. So it also, besides creating a pathway to give back, we're able to offer and let the traveler know the exact type of impact that they are going to make with this small give back. And that in itself is deeply fulfilling from a psychological perspective.
Absolutely. And, I'm going to ask you about the pillars with Kind Traveler in just a second, but one of the pillars with the California Lodging Investment Conference and CLIC Connect is we give back in scholarship donations, and then we're also helping the gentleman by the name of Bill Bracken here in Orange County, who left a stellar career. He was the executive chef at both the Peninsula and the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills to help take care of children that were at risk of not having meals. Now, he got a truck and he does gourmet meals. And during the pandemic, he has served over 2 million meals just here in Orange County.
Wow,
so,
that's amazing.
You know, it gets back to the heart of hospitality. You know, we give back. It's, you know, whether it's a natural disaster and taking people in, taking first responders in when they've been on a fire line for 48 hours straight and they need to, you know, sleep somewhere. You know, we take people in. So,
yeah, no.
With that said,
yeah. And I was just going to piggyback on that a little bit. Like in California, depending on where you are in the coast, the give back story is different. So like in Sonoma County and Napa, it might be about, wildfire recovery efforts, but if it's a coastal destination, it's about marine life conservation. Yep. And so depending on where you are also helps shape the story of the destination and, addressing the challenges that are most imperative to create a sustainable destination and future.
Right.
Is really, part of the conversation as well.
I love it. Okay, with that said, what are the 4 pillars that Kind Traveler is built on?
Yeah, so it's really simple. All of our impact goals are aligned with the UN Global Goals for Sustainable Development. So we're looking at, we have 90 charity partners on Kind Traveler currently, 140 hotels in 22 countries. And all of the impact goals are really aligned with either addressing poverty, advancing environmental sustainability, or reducing inequality. But the way that we're able to do this is through what we call our lens of kindness, which is broken up into 4 different pillars. And all of our communications and work and promotions, everything we do really looks through these 4 pillars, which involve community impact, environmental sustainability, animal welfare, as well as individual wellness. So it's a very holistic perspective. And if you start to break down all of those pillars, you'll find out that they're deeply interwoven and connected. And you can't really have all of them without each of them. And so each one is very important. And as an education platform, we strive to educate on why those efforts and impact within those categories are so important to creating a sustainable future for the travel industry.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you very much for doing that. Jessica, sadly, we are out of time. How can people get a hold of you? It's shameless plug time. So.
Oh, thanks, Craig. Yeah, the easiest way is to reach out, kindtraveler.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. We have a weekly newsletter. So sign up there. You can always reach out to me personally at hello@kindtraveler.com. That'll go directly to my inbox. Also, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So you can also connect with us over there. So thanks so much, Craig. I really appreciate the opportunity to connect with you today.
Oh, thank you, Jessica. And you've got an open invitation to come back anytime you'd like. And also, you're going to be able to meet Jessica because she will be attending CLIC 5 live and in person on October 5th at the JW Marriott in the Anaheim Resort. And producer Danny's going to push a button right now, and we're going to have a scroll with some information for you that has our website and a promo code, but I'm not going to tell you the promo code. You need to write it down, okay? I want to thank you, our audience, for participating in our show today. Without you and our production partners, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you. Thank you, Red Roof Franchising. Thank you, Chicago Title National Commercial Services Group, California. And please remember to subscribe and smash that bell on our YouTube channel so that you can get all the shows there first. And you can also follow us and like us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And with that, if you've got any suggestions you want to be on the show, got a guest, a topic, DM producer Danny or I, And we'd love to hear from you. And remember, be kind, share your knowledge. Now go be amazing.